few things in any data-driven decision making. One is the data, other is the people, and third is the technology. And we need to take care of this, particularly in terms of the silos. The silos being created by the data, even silos among the people. What I mean by people, the verticals, the departments, the wings, and the technology silos. I mean, we are employing silos in compartments, not looking at the comprehensive solution towards any problem. And when I'm talking about the problem, normally the biggest problem is, and what I feel, I like to go back to the fundamentals. And the fundamental is identify your problem statement, business objective very, very clearly. If you are not clear on your objectives and the problem statements, you are going to land up into the problem. Then once you are identifying, there is a need to make a fair amount of assessment of the infrastructure, data infrastructure available with the organization. And if there is a need after the assessment, if you need to go back to your problem again, and if there is a need to revise your problem, just do it. Because unless until you are, you keep vacillating between the problem statement and the data infrastructure assessment till you are clear, yeah, this is the problem statement you will be able to solve with the available data infrastructure. In fact, if you find the available data infrastructure is not enough to sort out the problem, we can look into whether we need to collect a fresh set of data, and if it is possible or not, what we need to do for that. Do we need to go for the survey, or do we need to use some IoT kind of things, anything. And once we are done with the data and your problem statement, then identify the team. The team is very, very important in terms of data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, and don't forget to make the business stakeholders as a part of your team, because domain knowledge and domain expertise is very, very important. Again, I will say, I mean, the failing of these projects, and from my experience, normally we fail to identify our problem clearly, and then we also fail to understand who is going to be the user. It's very important to identify well in advance what the project we are going to do. I mean, who is our users? If we don't keep this in mind, we are going to land up into the problem. And the rest of the things, the technology part, this is fine, but the user part is very, very important. Who is going to use this product? And beyond that, we need to create the right kind of technology. Technology is very, very important. Like majority of the times, we fail to understand the distinction between transactional data, operational data, and the analytical data. It's always wise to turn all your data into analytical worthy data and put it at a centralized repository, be it warehouse, be it data lake, or the upcoming thing, the data lake house, which merges the capabilities of warehouse and the data lake both. Once you are done with the fairly, you are done with the ecosystem, and then put the right kind of team. Unless until, if you are failing to do all such things, I mean, and probably I think these are the reasons. Again, I will say the basic and the fundamentals. Sometimes we fail to take care of our fundamentals and the basic of any projects, and which leads to major problem. See, we need to understand how data is collected, whether we are doing manually or we are taking help of the technology. Now, by and large, there are two ways we are collecting the data. One is the census mode, and other is the survey mode. And the third is, which we call the administrative data. Like, I mean, we are not actually collecting the data, but we are carrying our day-to-day duties and responsibilities. And in the process, data are getting collected, either in the physical form or the digital form, right? And there is an inherent probability of error creeping into the data. We cannot escape it. I mean, this is bound to happen. The only thing is, we have to take care of it to the extent so that we can minimize the error to the extent possible. And we also need to see whether there is some purposive data. I mean, poisoning has been done purposively or it is happening randomly. Random thing is fine. Our algorithm can take care of the randomness because the algorithms are designed like that. We always deal in the assignable causes and unassignable causes. So model has enough capacity to deal with the randomness and the error coming out of randomness. But if there is some purposive poisoning, that we need to be take care, and we need to be careful about it. CDO has a good role. In fact, I must say that because the policy, data sharing policy, normally CDO has a role to play into that when we finalize our data sharing policy. And the data breach, I'm not talking about the illegal kind of, the hacking or some cyber attack. That's a separate part, that's a part of the technology. But something happening, in the course of the things unknowingly. I mean, how to reduce those things which is happening randomly. Like we don't want to share something, but somehow it is being shared. You are in your best of the capacity, you are anonymizing the data, but still you have left the possibility of de-anonymize the data. It's very much possible, I mean, there are examples. Anonymized data has been de-anonymized to find the person and to get the privacy, I mean, the personal information of a particular person. So that's the thing. I mean, the policies can be taken care by. Then creation of the data pipeline for the specific stakeholder has to be very, very wise. I mean, we have to see, the CDO has to see that the data pipeline I am creating for a particular stakeholder, whether he requires that sort of data or not, because the data should be given to the person what he requires rather than giving everything. It brings the ease, smoothness in working also, and it also avoids the chances of, leakage and pilferage. And when technology changes we are bringing, so it's always wise to get back to the CDO and discuss the things. This is what they are bringing the change in the technology so far in terms of data sharing, because that has to be seen by the CDO also. Okay, the next step we are taking in terms of technology, whether it is going to hamper our initiative in terms of data protection or not. See, data strategy is very, very important. I remember and I recall, I discussed the quote of Rob Thomas. There is no AI without IA. That is, there is no artificial intelligence without information architecture. And this I discussed with one of a very good friend of mine, Alok Kumar, senior data scientist from IBM. And I realized information architecture is very, very important. When I'm saying information architecture, basically there are only 4 pillars: collect, organize, analyze, and infuse, right? So data strategy, without, it has been very well articulated and said by the Rob Thomas, without having the right kind of information architecture, marching on the road of artificial intelligence is going to be very, very difficult. And if you couple your information architecture with the technology like data lakehouse and the data fabric, it can create wonder for you. It will integrate your data, unify your data, bring it on a single platform, and it will give you basically the base from where you can fly on the journey of artificial intelligence.